Hello, I'm Gary Dolphin, a member of Gooch Lodge number 1295, and in October 2019 I was appointed as the Provincial Almoner for the province of Wiltshire. I was born in God's wonderful county, which, as you all know, is not Wiltshire, but Yorkshire. But it's not all good news, I'm afraid, as the football team I support is Huddersfield Town. I'm sure it's not escaped your notice that Yorkshire folks speak different to those down south. It's what we call proper Yorkshire, as opposed to proper English, even though experts claim the dialect is nearer to the original Anglo-Saxon. What may surprise you is that some famous academics have spent a lifetime studying long A's, dropped H's, and the non-use of consonants. And I guess it's only fair to say that yes, we do use less consonants, but we love our vowels. After school, I did what most kids of my age did at that time. I became an apprentice. Electrician as it was. Then in 1971, I decided I'd like to travel and see the world. So I joined the army to be a soldier, although in my case, it was the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, or REME for short. So in truth, I became an electronic engineer. Not for me, I'm afraid, the rifle and the bayonet. More a case of a multimeter and a screwdriver. I'm one of those very lucky people who has always wanted joy in my life. So much so that I married Joy and made her my wife after we met in Germany, whilst we were both serving in the army. She in the Queen Alexander's Royal Army Nursing Corps, and me in REME. In 1994, after 23 years, I left the army and settled down in Swindon, where I was introduced to Freemasonry. I was initiated into Freemasonry and Gooch Lodge number 1295 in Swindon in April 1995. As I'm sure you all know, whilst many others may claim to be, Gooch Lodge is without doubt the finest lodge in Wiltshire, and I'm very proud to have served as their secretary for the past 15 years. One of the proudest moments of my Masonic life was when I received my first provincial appointment as Grand Superintendent of Works in 2011, only for this to be trumped in 2015 when the Provincial Grand Master appointed me Provincial Senior Grand Warden. The word almoner is not unique to Freemasonry. Originally, the office of almoner was an officer responsible for distributing alms to the poor, usually connected with a religious house or other institution. In the 13th century, almoners were attached to the French court to distribute the royal alms, and in 1486 the office of Grand Almoner of France was established. The Grand Almoner was a high church dignitary who was in charge of the clergy attached to the court, and who supervised charitable works. The office was abolished in 1870. In England, the offices of Hereditary Grand Almoner and High Almoner still exist and are part of the Queen's household. The High Almoner, usually a bishop or other high-ranking member of the clergy, distributes the royal alms on Maundy Thursday. You may be interested to know that the Almoner's Department was a pre-NHS forerunner of the Social Works Department found in today's modern hospitals. The majority of hospitals in the Edwardian era catered exclusively for patients too poor to pay for medical care. They would come into hospital as in or outpatients and receive the best treatment available at the time. But as soon as improvement was seen, they'd be sent back to their poverty-stricken homes, which had often been the underlying cause of their problem in the first place. Hospital staff had long accepted that treatment could be made more effective by improving the environment of convalescent patients. Some hospitals had begun to appoint almoners from the 1880s. These were invariably women who organised aftercare for patients, including stays in convalescent homes, special equipment for use at home, additional dietary needs, and so on and so forth. At the time, almoners were expected to identify patients whose families were in position to make some financial contribution towards treatment. As the condition of hospitals improved, more people were willing to use their services, and the almoner's role was to ensure that those who could afford to pay did so. Central to the provision of Masonic care is the Lodge Almoner, originally appointed to look out for Freemasons who fell ill, and to act as a source of support and contact for the widows of deceased members. His role has now developed into a much more important one, but with more constraints within which to work. However, the Lodge Almoner's role is still to provide care for our members, their families, widows, dependents, and unattached Freemasons who may be experiencing difficulty in their lives. Therefore, to be an effective almoner, he should have a wide range of skills. For instance, apart from actually helping members to navigate the MCF's excellent website and processes, one of the duties of an almoner is to report to the Lodge on the welfare and well-being of members and its widows. To be able to do this, he must maintain contact with all Lodge members so that he can identify those that are in distress and need of support. By doing so, he, along with the Lodge mentor, will naturally be aware of the regular non-attenders at Lodge meetings, and they should attempt to find out if there's an underlying cause or a possible need for intervention and assistance. Occasionally, I'm asked why the almoner is only giving the Lodge the bare basics of any information regarding a brother's health. There's a very good reason for this. The almoner can only pass on information for which he has been given permission to do so, but even then, he has to balance the rights of the member with the wish of the Lodge to know more. For the almoner to be able to do his job properly requires that every member can trust him to respect their confidence. Almoners are often told things which a member may not wish to be shared, even with his friends and brethren in Freemasonry. He must also consider the legal effects of GDPR, or as we now call it, data protection, which, although we have left the EU, still applies. In the view of the province, it is considered best practice that almoners do not disclose any personal details regarding illness or financial matters. That way, they can never inadvertently speak out of turn. The thing to remember is this. If the almoner won't tell you the details of a brother's illness or personal circumstances, you can be confident that he won't tell anyone yours, should you ever be in need of help and support. Finally, he should have an overview of the Masonic charities and how to contact them, and also keep in regular contact with our widows. In addition to all the above, a good Lodge almoner must also be a good listener. This is a skill that's developed over time. It's about being an active listener rather than a passive one. Because the almoner's role over the years has grown substantially, the MCF care system was introduced to reduce their workload, thus enabling them to concentrate solely on contact with Lodge members. Following the implementation of the new system, we have seen a major change in the role of the Lodge almoner. No longer are they responsible for the completion of applications for the charities. Instead, they are now able to concentrate on regular contact with brethren, widows, and families. Freemasonry encompasses the basic principles of caring for others. For centuries, Freemasons have supported orphans, the sick, the elderly, and many others during times of distress. One of the core values instilled in every member is the importance of looking after the welfare of fellow Freemasons and their loved ones. In Masonry, as in most forms of voluntary service, a job is what you make it. You can have the glory of the title without doing much to justify it, or you can strive to improve the quality of the life for those within your lodge and dependents who have suffered hardship. We all hope that we'll not have to face financial hardship, major health problems, need help in supporting our children, or even requiring extra care in our old age. In reality, thousands of people every year need a little extra assistance, and we Freemasons are fortunate to have that support at hand. And this initiative is there to make sure Freemasons and their dependents who are in need of support receive it. Created in 2016, the Masonic Charitable Foundation brought together the 4 separate Masonic charities, which, up until then, had been independently administered. These were the Freemasons Grand Charity, the Royal Masonic Trust for Girls and Boys, the Masonic Samaritan Fund, and the Royal Masonic Benevolent Institution. The aim of the MCF is to build better lives by supporting Freemasons and their families when life takes an unexpected turn for the worse. They offer a wide range of grants and support services for financial, health, family and care needs. Most of the support they provide takes the form of financial grants to assist with daily living costs, but grants can also be provided for specific items or services. Incidentally, the MCF have continued to support members of all provinces and their families throughout 2020. This is despite the adverse effect that the COVID epidemic has had on the range of support and services that they have been able to offer. My role as Provincial Almoner is to provide support, guidance and advice to all 44 Lodge Almoners within Wiltshire, and to be the conduit through which applications for financial, medical and family support on behalf of the brethren and dependents are made to the Masonic Charitable Foundation. I also monitor the award and distribution of grants that are awarded to individuals by the MCF. I'm very fortunate to have a team of 7 trained visiting volunteers located throughout the province who are employed to visit applicants, collect information and assist them with the completion of the necessary forms and other paperwork that are an essential requirement of making a successful application for support to the MCF. Visiting volunteers also carry out annual reviews for members and dependents that receive ongoing support from the MCF. Visiting volunteers are normally, although not exclusively, Freemasons who volunteer to become part of the Provincial Almoner's team. There is no requirement for a visiting volunteer to have any previous experience, as full training is provided by the MCF. Another of my roles as Provincial Almoner is carried out in conjunction with Des Morgan, the Provincial Communications Officer. It's the management and supply of the Teddies for Loving Care, or TLC teddy bears. Since its adoption in Wiltshire in 2014, Wiltshire Freemasons have donated over 80,000 teddy bears to the A&E departments of Salisbury and Swindon hospitals. The bears are supplied and delivered to the hospitals by Wiltshire Freemasons, where they are distributed by nursing staff, mainly to young patients who may be feeling anxious or upset due to being admitted to A&E. According to staff at both hospitals, the bears continue to be a great source of comfort to all recipients. That concludes the brief overview of my job within the province and provides an insight into the Office of Lodge Almoner. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed it and found it of interest. May I take this opportunity to reaffirm our unique Wiltshire strapline: charity. It's in a Freemason's DNA. Thank you.